Pierre Michelin took over at the death of André CITROEN in 1935. His assistant, Pierre Boulanger, would in turn take over from him in 1938. Market research resulted in a new project. The creation of an umbrella over 4 wheels, able to transport 4 people, 50 kilograms of potatoes and a basket of eggs across a ploughed field, without breaking a single egg. It's a romantic image, perfectly in keeping with rural France of the time. For Pierre Boulanger, aesthetics were not important. He wanted simple and inexpensive. André Lefebvre's team got to work, and by 1939 the car was ready. But war prevented the launch of the new Deux Chevaux. In the utmost secrecy, the Deux Chevaux was remodeled to be presented at the Paris Motor Show of 1948. Front-wheel drive, supple suspension, air-cooled 2-cylinder engine, a light yet resilient body. This was a creation that perfectly fitted its brief. And she had style. She was a unique Bertoni creation. Bertoni was an artist in the Bauhaus tradition, with the skill of combining industrial aesthetics with contemporary design, transforming a merely practical object into a thing of beauty. At the Paris Motor Show there was no engine, just weighty ballast under a sealed bonnet. No matter, she made an impression. The public decided she was amusing, curious, yet with seductive features, including a convertible top. Amused and amazed crowds jostled. Already they were dreaming of owning her. Manufacture only began in June 1949 and progress was slow. At first, long waiting lists meant cars arrived years after they'd been ordered. The Deux Chevaux was cheap but few and far between, which made her even more desirable. Soon the Deux Chevaux would dominate the market as the family car, the budget car, but also as the answer to that useful yet inexpensive vehicle dreamed of by Boulanger. The no-frills, affable means of transport, a vehicle which guaranteed value for money. The impression instantly created by the little Deux Chevaux would remain intact. Whatever improvements, whatever evolutions in style, her look never changed. And her most seductive innovation was, quite simply, a step into the past. The Charleston brought back round headlamps and highlighted the bodywork to show off her lines. In 1951, Citroën began commercializing the utility Deux Chevaux, the fourgonnette. With a capacity of almost 2 cubic meters, it could transport 250 kilograms at a speed of 60 kilometers an hour. With a compact 375 cubic centimeter engine, the fourgonnette wasn't going to break the sound barrier, but it was a hardy little car, ready to face anything. She would come to know the same success as the Berlin and would be the utility vehicle par excellence. 1954 would see the introduction of an automatic centrifugal clutch, one of the strong points of this model. Even though one had to use the clutch to change gears, it was no longer necessary for stopping or starting, an important asset for city driving. Although the principal factory was in Levallois, from 1953 the Deux Chevaux would be manufactured in England, and from 1957 the fourgonnette would be built in Vigo, Spain. Afterwards in Chile, then Argentina, in Yugoslavia, and finally in Portugal. In 1958, it was the 4x4 whose production would drop to a mere few hundred, but which would pave the way for true market success. The Deux Chevaux, robust, economical, easy to repair, lent itself to the most outrageous jaunts, enabling throngs of daredevils to explore the planet's roughest roads, following trails laid by Jacques Séguéla and Jean-Claude Baudot, who were awarded the Prix CITROEN of '59 after completing 100,000 kilometers around the globe. This prize was created in '57 to encourage such exploits. Citroën was always in the forefront of adventure, launching a number of raids which rallied the youth of the '70s. "500 teams would undertake return journeys between Paris and Kabul in 1970, between Paris and Iran in 1971, and finally the Africa raid between Abidjan and Tunisia in 1973. The Deux Chevaux may not have been a racing car, but since 1972 she's certainly offered excitement to anyone looking for it. Anyone prepared to join in the famous Deux Chevaux cross, that is. These were rough cross-country rallies for young drivers, tearing around dirt tracks at 70 kilometres an hour with no holds barred. So it wasn't Formula One, but it was wild and it was cheap. With the 60s came full-out expansion, with the Deux Chevaux becoming the most popular second car, a car for the young. Now produced in a range of colours, replacing the original grey. There was even an optional transistor radio, a great novelty at the time, especially for enjoying the latest rock and roll hits on the top 20. 1964 was a big year for the Deux Chevaux, when 242,000 cars rolled off the production line. The petrol crisis of the 70s would give a new lease of life to the Deux, which was ready to face any economic or ecological dragon rearing its head. CITROEN took advantage of the situation by launching the first of its special series and limited series, to which the Deux Chevaux amiably adapted itself. This was a modest little car, uncomplicated but always ready for adventure. In February 1988, the Deux Chevaux' principal factory in Levallois shut its doors forever. The last Deux Chevaux was built on the 27th of July 1990 in Mangualde, Portugal. "42 years later and nearly 4 million off the production line, André Citroën and Pierre Boulanger's dream of a popular car, functional, basic and utilitarian, had been realised. A simple vehicle born of a simple concept, it had fulfilled the mission entrusted to it. The unforgettable little Deux Chevaux, always obliging, always dependable, will doubtless remain as the symbol of an exceptional industrial, commercial and human success story.